Hey y'all, Logan here with another gear comparison review. So right here I have the NEMO Firefly 2-person tent, which is owned by my buddy Todd, and right here we got the NEMO Dagger 2-person tent, which is my tent. So we're gonna do a few comparisons between the two tents. Both of them obviously are made by NEMO, not sponsored by NEMO or anything, but I really do love their products. I've got a NEMO sleeping bag and a NEMO tent, and I love both of them. Also got the NEMO pillow, which is definitely something you need in your life right now. So, alright, first off I want to apologize, I'm a sweaty mess. I live in Texas, it's 100 degrees outside right now, so sweating this time of year just goes with being outdoors. Secondly, I want to apologize for any plane noises. We're out in the woods, kind of in the flight path of DFW, so there could be a plane that flies over here and there. But first we'll talk about the cost and weight difference and a few other little things about the tents. And we'll start with the NEMO Firefly 2. This tent comes in at about $350. It comes in just under 3 pounds in pack weight, and it's 29, just a little over, but 29 square feet. All right. The Dagger comes in at $430, so $80 more expensive. The pack weight is a little bit heavier. It's 3 pounds, 14-ounce pack weight, and the square footage is just a little bit bigger at just a hair under 32 square feet. So you get a little bit bigger footprint on this tent, but you get a little bit lighter and cheaper on the price on this tent. With the Firefly 2-person tent, so this one is going to be a little bit taller than the Dagger, excuse me. So you're going to be able to have a little bit more room when you're sitting up and down. But the big difference on these two tents is going to be the taper. So this tent is going to be tapered towards one side. It's color coded, so you're going to have a yellow side on that side and a gray side on this side right here. What that means is you can only sleep one way. So they're both 2-person tents, but in this particular tent you're both going to have to sleep head to head with your feet going down towards this end of the tent because it's tapered down that way. All right. Now with the Dagger, it's the same size on both sides. So you can sleep head to foot or head to head, it doesn't really matter. Alright, so we'll talk about the difference in the feet right now, but I just wanted to touch on a point. We're not going to show you how to put either one of these tents together in this video, so if that's what you're looking for, please go and look at my individual reviews of both these tents and you'll be able to find that there. So we'll talk about the difference of the foot here. So this is going to be a grommet and pole system right here. So in order to put this tent together, you just put the grommets and the pegs right there, and that's how that one works on the Firefly 2. The Dagger is going to have the Jake's feet. So it's a ball right here. I'm going to show you if I can get it up. There you go. So you have a ball and it goes right here into that socket right there, and that's what they call the Jake's feet. Alright, so personally I prefer the Jake's feet, but that does add just a tad more weight on this tent, and that's why it's a little bit heavier tent. Another thing, and I've talked about this in my other review video, but you got to be careful with the Jake's feet falling off the tent. So I would recommend either zip tying them or twist tying them to the tent so they do not do that. Next major difference on these two tents is the vestibule size. So you're still going to get a pretty decent sized vestibule on the Firefly 2, but the Dagger is going to have a much larger vestibule. So if you're going on a longer backpacking trip, I would definitely suggest going with the Dagger, because especially with 2 people. Now with 1 person, it's not really going to matter because you're going to have plenty of vestibule size on both tents. But when you're hiking 2 people using the same tent, like me and my wife like to do a lot, I recommend this tent just because I can put all my stuff on this side, she can put all her stuff on that side, and we're not fighting about space. Alright. Next thing I want to talk about is the Rainfly. Both of them are pretty much made out of the exact same material. Todd hasn't camped in his in the rain that I know of, but I've camped in mine in the rain, and I would imagine they perform very similarly, and I didn't get a drop of rain in my tent. So for those, you're going to get a little bit different color. Obviously you can tell this is a little bit lighter, darker or lighter green. This is more of like an olive yellowy green. So I don't know why that is. It may be because his is a year model newer. I'm not sure, but just a little bit different color, but I'm sure they function both the same. All right, one other difference you're gonna see on the Dagger versus the Firefly is that Dagger has 2 stakeout points on each side for the Rainfly. So it kind of gives you this little entryway, whereas here you see on the Firefly, you just have that 1 stakeout point. So you're gonna have to roll one side up in order to be able to get that side entryway. All right, now I'm gonna sit inside each tent so you can see how much room there is with me sitting up. I'm about 6 foot tall, so if that gives you any point of reference. And then I'll talk about a few features on the inside of the tent. As you can see, I've still got plenty of room up here. So you got plenty of room sitting in this tent as far as sitting up and down. I will say that the material on this tent is a little bit thicker than the NEMO Dagger, and I think that is because they're trying to save a little bit of weight on that tent because it is such a large tent for the size. But this definitely feels a little bit more substantial. Right here you have pockets on both this side. Unlike the Dagger, which we'll go to in a minute, you don't have it on the bottom because this tent, like I said, is meant to be laid in one way. But you still have the nightlight. You still have the nightlight pouches right here, so you can put your headlamp in there and get some good light. Now I'll lay down so you can see how much room there is. Laying down. All right, so here we are inside of the Dagger 2. We've got plenty of room still here, just a little bit more room on the Firefly, but still plenty of headroom in this tent. But what you're gonna get in this tent is a little bit more room in the bathtub. You're gonna have a little bit more room from side to side, and it's not tapered on this end, so this end and this end are the same. So you can sleep on either end. And for that reason, they have these pockets right here. It also has a nightlight pocket, just like the Firefly. This pocket, but you're gonna have them on both sides. So, and now I'm gonna show you how much room you have when you lay down in this tent. All right, so this is what each tent looks like without the Rainfly on. Both real sharp looking tents. You can tell on the Firefly the mesh is a little bit more white. It's still got a white mesh on the Dagger, but the reason they do this white mesh here on the sides is because at night when you're shining a flashlight around, it reflects back so you can't see into the tent at night. You still got the dark mesh on both tops of the tents right here, and that allows you at night to look up and see the stars. Alright, so the last major difference I'm going to talk about on these tents is the pole system. So on this Firefly right here, it's going to be a 3-piece pole system. So you're going to have 3 poles, and it's just going to go right over the top here and connect. Now on the Dagger, it's a 1-piece pole system. So this middle pole right here is actually going to be connected by this plastic piece right here. So that has its own downsides and pros and cons, but I personally like the 1-piece because I'm real bad about losing things, and this is just one less thing for me to lose. The last thing I want to show you in comparison is the pack size of each tent. So this is going to be the Dagger, and this is the Firefly right here. So as you can see, they're both very similar in size. Todd and I both like to pack our tents the same way, meaning that we keep the poles and the stakes separate, and the reason we both like to do that is because sometimes if you put them all in the stuff sack together, you could damage them. So that's why we do that. But as you can see right here, both very similar in size, about the same height. This one is actually a little bit narrower, but really they pack down to be about the same size, although this Firefly is just a little bit lighter. So that will conclude the tent review between the NEMO Firefly and the NEMO Dagger. Keep adventuring, y'all. Hopefully I'll see one of y'all on a trail or a river someday.